So if you've struggled to transfer WordPress sites from one hosting server to another, this video is for you because I've struggled with it myself. I've actually tried to record videos different times on this topic and had errors, so I've deleted them. I feel like I've finally found a reliable method using a plugin. I'm going to show you in this video, but I've tried different things over the years, including the manual method of just downloading a backup and then using like cPanel to upload or import the database and the files, which is a pretty reliable method, but it's tedious. So I never really loved doing it that way. And I knew there was a better way. So I've tried different plugins. And if you go into WordPress and search like backup transfer, you're going to find a bunch of plugins. Here's one here I've not seen before. Updraft PLUS. Back WP Up is actually one I used several times successfully. And I used it for a while and then it started giving me errors. All-in-one WP migration is one I used for a while and then got some errors. And then there's more of them. I haven't tried them all, but I've tried many of them and gotten errors. Another thing I tried at one point was Jet Backup, and I had one successful transfer with it. So I actually purchased it, some premium version, and then I got like 6 errors on the next 6 transfers I tried. So I kind of gave up on that, even contacted support, who pretty much admitted that we agree that the old backup guard code base is not very reliable with many issues specific to certain environments. Already begun develop on new Jet Backup WP core, which will be written from scratch. So I don't know when that's going to be done, but I gave up on them and canceled that premium plugin as well. So after trying some more plugins again and doing some research, I actually landed on Updraft PLUS again. I had used it in the past for backups, but never had a lot of luck with transfers, but I tried it again. And I've had like 6 or 7 successful transfers and it's worked flawlessly. And I've been pretty impressed with the process too. So I'm going to show you step by step my process for using Updraft PLUS to transfer a site from WordPress one server to another. It's actually free as well. You don't need to pay for the premium version of Updraft PLUS, which is another bonus. So there's a few tricks along the way. So I'm going to show you my process step by step. This is a live actual transfer that I'm doing. A little nervous about it actually because I had to disable a plugin to actually get into the WordPress admin. This is also hosted on Bluehost. So they have their own plugin and environment kind of going on here. This is probably a good test for this process because this environment feels a little bit unstable. This site feels a little unstable. So we're going to see if it works here together. So my first step is going to be to search for Updraft PLUS, the plugin, and I'm going to go ahead and install that and activate it. Once that's activated, there should be a menu on the left. It's actually under settings and Updraft PLUS backups. I don't love their menus. It's a little confusing and a lot of people might give up at this point. I actually use Dropbox to upload the backup to. You can create the backup locally on the server, but I just don't like to put a lot of strain on the source server because it's typically some server I'm not familiar with and I'm just logging into it. So I prefer to just get the backup remotely to my own Dropbox account. So to do that right now, I go to settings, I click on Dropbox. This is where it gets confusing. You kind of got to just read through the text, which I know people don't like to read, but it'd be better if they just gave you some buttons here to click. Basically what you do is under authenticate, if you read this, it says you got to actually save changes. And then they pop up this link. So you follow the link, which takes you to this page that basically is giving permission to complete the setup. Looks like they're asking me to log in again. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I actually had a little problem getting back into the site, which I believe is an issue again with this environment. It's getting a lot of errors. So they're showing me a manual process to authenticate. So what I'm going to do is go back to those settings. So that was under settings, Dropbox, click save, takes you to that orange link. I'm going to open that in a new tab so I don't lose this WordPress dashboard. And then they said to click having problems authenticating. And then they give me this code, which I will enter in this box here and click complete. Let's see if that works. Seems like it worked. So that's basically authenticating your Dropbox account. Typically you just click complete setup and it has you log into WordPress. But this WordPress installation is giving me issues with the login. So that seems to be the issue here. Normally I just click that link and yeah, it jumps me back into the WordPress dashboard. So I think I'm good now. You can go through these settings, but typically they're fine as is. Dropbox is authenticated, which means when I run a backup, it's just going to upload it to my Dropbox account. I'm going to go to Backup, Restore, and click Backup Now. Some more settings here. It says send this backup to remote storage, which again is my Dropbox account. I'm going to click Backup Now. I actually was having an issue and Dropbox wasn't showing here. I think it's because of the way that I had to manually authenticate it, but once I refreshed, I was able to select Dropbox here and then click Backup Now. So it'll show you the process here. Depending on the size of the website that you're backing up, it might take 10 to 15 minutes. So this one completed just in a few minutes, so it's pretty fast. And now you can see I have my backup here. It's got the Dropbox logo. So I should be done on the source website. I'm gonna go over and set up a WordPress on my server, and then I'll show you the process there. So there are some different methods you can use depending on your server where you're transferring the WordPress site to. You could use temporary URLs on your server. I like to use a trick with the host file, which is a file that's local on your computer. I'll link to the instructions for this, but basically you put your own IP address in of your server, then the domain. Basically what it's doing is it's tricking your computer to, when you visit this domain, to serve it from the IP address given here, which in my case is my hosting server where I'm transferring the website to. But usually you have to save this host file and then you have to like clear your cache or just close your browser and reopen it. And if I visit the website now, I'll probably get some kind of error, like a privacy error, or because it's now trying to load the website off my server where it's not installed yet. So basically on your source server, then you can install WordPress however you typically do. I use WordPress Toolkit within a cPanel. I do have to choose HTTP instead of the secure version, just because there won't be a security certificate installed yet, and then I'll fix that after the fact. So I'm gonna do it that way, put in my other information and install. Basically, you just need a clean version of WordPress where you can install the Updraft plugin. So this will just take a few seconds to install WordPress. Okay, so I've installed WordPress, logged in. It's just a clean install of WordPress, but you see it's actually running on the domain. But again, I'm using that host file to run this domain off my server. So I just need to add the Updraft plugin and connect to Dropbox like I did on the other account. We'll see if it works the normal way on my server, and it should, because this is a clean install. Tell it's already running a little better. If I go to settings, Dropbox, then I save the changes and it's gonna try to authenticate. Opens up the orange page. I click complete setup. I'm not on a secure site, so it's giving me a warning. That's okay. And then it logs me right back in and it's connected. So that's the way it's supposed to work. Now if I go back, just refresh this page, I'm not seeing the backup here. I should see it. I'm gonna click rescan remote storage here. And yeah, that worked. So it's showing me the backups on my Dropbox account. Some of these are from other sites, but I know the one that I did today is the one I want. So I'm gonna go ahead and click restore here. It asks me which elements I want to restore, and I'm just gonna choose everything. Click next. So they give you a few warnings. The first one says this backup set was not known by Updraft PLUS to be created. The current WordPress installation was found in remote storage. This backup set is of this site, but at the time of backup, you're using so there's a warning about HTTPS, which I mentioned. So it's just asking you if you still want to restore. If you want to restore all your database tables, then choose. So you can read through these, but typically not a problem. I mean, something goes wrong, I'm only on remote, or I'm on my new WordPress install anyway, so it's not going to affect the actual site on the source server. So I might pause this at some point, but let's just see how fast it goes. I'll let you see the process. Okay, this site, was not very large, so it went pretty fast. It only took about a minute, if that. I'm going to go ahead and click return to Updraft PLUS configuration. It's asking me to update the WordPress database. So I'm going to let it do that. Should take me back to the login. And now that it's restored the site, you're gonna have to use the login from the source WordPress site. I actually got this error, cookies are blocked, when I tried to log in, but I get that often, and you just log in again and it should work. Okay, so I'm logged in to the restored site on my target server. I do have a plugin deactivated that was giving me issues, slider revolution, so I'm going to troubleshoot that, but hopefully if you have a healthy WordPress site that you're transferring, you shouldn't have any of these issues. Like I mentioned before, this site was on Bluehost, so they had their plugin installed. Actually, when I tried to load the site, I could tell the theme's not loading correctly. So it actually defaulted to the WordPress default theme instead of Divi, which is where the site was built on. So I'm going to cross my fingers and click activate on the Divi theme and refresh the site. And it looks like it's running okay. This is how it looked before, and then Revolution sliders disabled. So I kind of expect this to be showing here, but I'm gonna re-enable that, and I'm gonna have to troubleshoot some other things. But it seems to be loading the same as it was on the source server. So it seems like it was a successful transfer. Probably only took me about 20 minutes to record this video total, or the entire length of the video, I guess you'll see when I publish it, but this process can go pretty fast, and the bulk of it is just the actual like transfer and upload, or download and upload. So you could do other things while that's happening. So it's really only a few minutes of work, depending on what you then need to do on your target server. In my case, I got to load some of my own plugins. I'm going to get rid of this Bluehost plugin and do some other things. It's going to take me more time, but the actual transfer pretty quick, and this Updraft plugin has been working seamlessly for me. I think I've done about 15 transfers in the last couple months, and they've all worked perfectly. So I do these transfers as a service for WordPress site owners who want to move their site to my hosting. I provide hosting and management of WordPress sites for a small monthly fee. So if you're interested in having me transfer your site for you to my server and providing hosting and maintenance for your website, feel free to contact me. I'll put more information in a link in the description. But if you're just trying to transfer the site for your own purposes from one server to another, hopefully this video and this great plugin from Updraft PLUS will help you out. You can check out some other videos I've done on WordPress and actually this Divi theme as well if you're interested. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.